Even though we may be happy, if we don't recognize it, we will never be able to make use of that happiness as an opportunity of practicing the Dharma. When we're happy, if we don't recognize its happiness, then that happiness won't become the favorable condition to practice the Dharma. If you're not ill, if you're very healthy, if you're wealthy, at that time you're very happy. But when people are in such happy situation, you probably don't even recognize that you're happy, that you're lucky. So you should not waste such happiness. You have to use such happiness on the path of genuine Dharma. And we will, and we should not expect for some extra happiness that will come our way. Don't feel so greedy for more happiness. In fact, you already have everything. You should already be contented. When people ask you whether you're happy, you should say, yes, I'm the most happy. Why is that? Because I'm healthy. I have a healthy mentality. I have lots of providings. I recently received a bonus of $1,500. So I have everything. I have freedom to walk underneath the blue sky and white clouds. I have everything. But if you don't think in such a way, rather you think in the way that I'm not happy now, but I wish I could be happy. In this way, I think that's what most of the non-practitioners think. When people ask them, are you happy? They would say that, well, I am not happy now, but if I'm doing a project, I am currently planning to cooperate with so-and-so and with the plan with our project management and so on. I think eventually I will become as wealthy as the universal monarch, and then at that time I think I wouldn't have too much difficulties to become happy. I think this kind of sense of longing and a sense of looking for more, looking for extra mentality is very common in our world. Therefore, next time when people ask you whether you're happy or not, well, you're happy. You have everything already. You should be content. Otherwise, our desire could go limitless, and there's really no end to it. There was a king. His name is the king Uposatha. He has all the wealth in the three realms, and at the end he could sit. He has the same hierarchical seating with Indra himself, but he couldn't get content with all the wealth and happiness he has, and then he fell into the human realm and died over there. That was described in the Uposatha Sutra. It said in the Sutra of Cause and Conditions, it says that even if the sky rains precious jewels, the greedy ones won't be contented. So just like that, the foolish ones don't even have a time to feel content. That's what the wise ones should understand. I think everyone's very different. We have different merit. We have different life. But you should think that whatever you have is really your own merit, and you should be happy about that. Maybe you're not so wealthy right now. That just means that you don't have such wealth in your causes and conditions. Then you should think, I've already have everything that I should have. And similar applies to your appearance and so on, instead of looking everywhere at all times. So the antidote to do this is to apply practice wherever it is appropriate, and above all, to savor the nectar of contentment. So whenever we need to work with this, at all times we have to unite the practice of the precious Dharma with our daily activities. As we studied yesterday from the Buddhist Bequeathed Sutra, it says that the contented ones, even if they're sleeping on the ground, they feel happy. So this is quite important. According to Master Lianqi, he said that people who feel content understand what contentment is. The afflictions in one's mind could be eliminated in one moment. Some of the Western economists would think that we shouldn't feel a sense of contentment. Otherwise, we don't have any intention to progress anymore, to continuously progress anymore. That is not good. So we have to continuously to go forward, to try our best, and we have to have the aspiration more and more. In fact, I think this is the kind of spirit that is a little too arrogant. In whichever way, it is very difficult to fulfill our desire. To a certain extent, you have to understand and have to learn to be content. Of course, you can try hard. You should try hard. I think, however, I think in terms of wealth, eventually you'll be able to understand it doesn't matter how much you try. It doesn't really help. According to Nagarjuna, he said that the most precious wealth is contentment. So if you understand how to be content, and then the defiled wealth in this world are not necessity to you, but contentment is a nectar. So we should be relaxed with whatever we have, let it be social status, let it be any kinds of things that we desire in this world. Then in such a way we will be at ease. Otherwise, if we continuously to chase after them, the poorer we are, the more scarcity mentality we have. I think many people have genuine experience of that. Even though we may be happy, and then it says that there are other ways of turning happiness into path, especially those based on recalling the kindness of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and on the instructions for training in bodhicitta, but this will do for now. So whenever you feel any kind of little happiness, they are all from the blessings, and they're all from the kindness of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I should understand that's from the three jewels. The cold, when you're in the cold area, when you can feel the warm sunlight, when it is quite hot outside, but you feel this cool breeze. In fact, those are all the blessings from the three jewels. So any little bit of happiness that you can experience in your mind stream are all the teachings, are all the things that you can use in terms of practicing bodhicitta as well. Once you feel any bit of happiness, you could think that let all sentient beings experience whatever I am experiencing. Let me offer this to all sentient beings. So that is in terms of bodhicitta practice. And the next one talks about then unite happiness into the practice of transforming happiness into enlightenment with your actual practice. We shouldn't be arrogant. The nature of happiness is in fact suffering. The nature is impermanent. The nature is empty. The nature is non-self. So you can contemplate it in such a way. You could be happy today, you not necessarily tomorrow. Your happiness are just very superficial right now. They're nothing. They're very illusory. There's nothing to grasp onto. But this kind of happiness could become the cause of suffering. So this is from this angle. And then Tenpe Nyima said that, but this will do for now. I guess he must be really, really busy. So he only talked till here. As with the using suffering as a path, so with happiness too. You need to go to a solitary retreat environment and combine this with practices of purification and accumulation, merit, and wisdom. So you can go to solitary retreat and so on, and then practice, for example, mandala, offering to the Dharmapalas, and chant the 100-syllable mantra, and so on. So this is the same as practice in solitary retreat. And then second aspect is says that the absolute dimension. In fact, it's similar as previous ones when we talked about the suffering in the ultimate, in the absolute dimension. So you have to go through the recognition from the four extremes. Is it born from self, from other, from both, from no cause? And after this kind of inference, you see that the name of happiness doesn't even exist. Don't even mention its existence or its itself. So in absolute truth, in fact, there's no happiness to gain, and that is rather unfathomable realization. So how could you have such happiness then? When I asked everyone, is suffering existent? All of you said not existent. In fact, later on, I went back home and I thought, oh, so lucky that nobody said it's existent. Otherwise, it would be rather a little bit embarrassing for all of us. Since yesterday we agreed that since suffering doesn't exist in absolute truth, then we would agree that happiness do not exist in absolute truth either, because the name doesn't even exist. Therefore, what is the happiness that we're grasping onto then, if it doesn't exist in absolute truth? And the happiness in relative truth is so easy to change. What is there to grasp onto? So when you're happy, don't get so arrogant, because in such a way you won't be able to succeed in your practice and probably end up unsuccessful, which is not wanted by anyone. As a practitioner, I think we should maintain a rather balanced state of mind. When you're suffering, you're also at ease, and you continue with whatever activities you're doing for the sentient beings, and do not give up on that. That is a true practitioner. Unlike there are people nowadays who would cry out loud and the tears become larger and deeper than the Indian Ocean, and when they're happy they laugh out loud so that the 3,000 world could hear the laughter. Even the Indra would feel that this person's laughing out loud so much. What is so funny? And they would hold up their ears and try to stop you. So I think this kind of unbalanced situation and mood is really not necessary. Let's try to maintain certain kind of equanimity between the both. The suffering and happiness, in fact, are the two most strong emotions, and whenever the two strong emotions manifest in you, try to transform that into the path of enlightenment. Tomorrow we will finish the teaching.
Chubum Solen Drova